and we have made a new discovery at San Marcial, just about 250 meters to the southeast, cleverly called the Southeast Discovery Area, where we are also having success. So that combination of drilling in two locations is really feeding into a resource update for both areas that we will see in the first quarter of 2023.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Eric Zaunscherb, who is the chairman and CEO of GRSLF. GRSLF are focused on the Rosario mining district in Sinaloa, Mexico, where they have two major projects, the Plomosas Silver Project and San Marcial. Eric, fantastic to see you this morning. Joining me, lovely background you've got there.
Thank you very much.
Start things off. Tell us a little bit about the company and your sort of major focus on these two projects there in Mexico.
Thanks very much for having me, Leo. It's a pleasure to be here. GRSLF is an exciting story. We're focused on the Plomosas Project in Sinaloa, Mexico. It takes about 45 minutes drive out of the resort town of Mazatlan on the coast. You drive for 45 minutes into El Rosario, which is an historic mining town for about 250 years. And then it's about an hour and a half by dirt road into the project itself. And the Plomosas Project has got great access by dirt road, as well as power to site. There were two operating mines in the project area. First of all, I want to give credit to Marcio Fonseca, who is the president and chief operating officer. He did a great job over the last few years having the vision to create this property portfolio in the first place. So now we have the amalgamation of three property groups into one package, the Plomosas Project, and that covers over 430 square kilometers. In addition, we've got about 300 square kilometers that are non-core that we're having discussions over.
I mean, you mentioned that there's all this infrastructure in there. You've also got a vast amount of historic and recent drill core that you're working your way through. Tell us a little bit about that.
Indeed. If you look at it, the one project, for example, one part of the project is the former Plomosas mine. And so that was in operation by Grupo Mexico from about 86 to 2001. We have all the detailed production records from that, in addition to well over 500 historical drill holes. More recently, we acquired the La Trinidad concessions adjoining the project, and that's also been incorporated, and that has over 1,000 drill holes. So there's a real bounty of historical data that we can use in order to understand what the geology is here. And of course, that's key, understanding the geology, understanding the controls on mineralization. And we are now having an accelerating and improving hit rate as we're doing our own drilling.
So tell us a little bit about where you've been drilling. And I mean, I've got some of the results we'll go through a little bit later, but what's been the focus of your drilling campaign this year?
There are actually two foci here. On one hand, we've got the Plomosas mine, the former mine, and there's 7.4 kilometers of underground development there that provides us access underground. In addition, 5 kilometers to the south, we have a second area called San Marcial. And at San Marcial, again, some historical drilling, a mixture with our own drilling, and we have made a new discovery at San Marcial, just about 250 meters to the southeast, cleverly called the Southeast Discovery Area, where we are also having success. So that combination of drilling in two locations is really feeding into a resource update for both areas that we will see in the first quarter of 2023.
I mean, if we can start with San Marcial, in this southeast extension zone, what sort of grades and intersections are you hitting?
It's quite exciting. I mean, we noticed the geological setting coming out of San Marcial, where San Marcial lives, and we were seeing some lithogeochemical anomalies, silver anomalies at surface. And we thought, well, that could be leakage from something happening at depth. Drill hole number 10, which is the first in this new area, 2210, intersected 101.6 meters of 308 grams per ton silver. Note that's not silver equivalent, some mixture of silver with lead and zinc. That is 308 grams of silver. Nicely, a lot of that material is very high yield. When we apply a CIL to that and leach, you can actually get recoveries of over 90% as well. So that is really attracted a lot of attention to have something that's purely silver like that with a high recovery rate.
I noticed in your announcement there were also sort of multiple intervals within that of over 1,000 grams per ton. So exciting stuff. And
indeed, yes.
Yeah, moving to Plomosas. Tell us about some of your recent results there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Plomosas is a different story. We put out in August of 2021 a resource, the initial resource, the first resource there, in fact, put out in NI 430101 form. And to be honest, we kind of disappointed some people, both in terms of the delay in getting that out, but also, we have a property that is huge, over 340 square kilometers, with great showings all over the place. And there's a kilo here and 2 kilos there and 5 kilos there. And I think that the market was in the mood to see something better than 45 grams per ton, which is certainly not economic. It's hardly anomalous. But the reality is, in that former mine, the average grade, the average production there was 190 grams per ton silver, 0.96 grams per ton gold, and a silver equivalent that would be closer to 300 grams per ton today. So that's a huge delta between what was in the historical production records and what is in this resource estimate. So the key is we're doing a lot of drilling there right now, very targeted, very surgical infill drilling, nice short holes from underground that you can efficiently test. And we're replacing those holes that were very selectively sampled in the past. So that was a base metal mine where they saw sulfides, they sampled the sphalerite and the galena. They did not sample in between. So you've got a lot of areas there that went unsampled. So we're replacing those historical holes with new holes that sample the precious metals, and we're getting some spectacular results. Not just in the polymetallic hydrothermal breccia, that's the main part of that deposit, that part of that mine, but we're also finding some very high-grade precious metal intersections in new zones that are adjacent to the hydrothermal breccia. So you're seeing veining stockworks in both the footwall and the hanging wall. So getting to your question, for example, we just put out a release a few days ago, 44.5 meters, averaging 518 grams per ton silver equivalent. This is a polymetallic, so it has both silver, gold, lead, and zinc in it. Straight gold, straight silver in there, we're also getting 290 grams, 300 grams, that sort of thing. And as you alluded to before, some very high grade sections in there, including 2.4 meters of 3.4 kilos of silver equivalent. Very, very nice material.
So going forward, I mean, what is the plan for the rest of the year and then into 2023?
As I said before, the focus for us is to deliver mineral resource estimate updates for both San Marcial, where the volume is expanding with the new discovery, and at Plomosas, where there might be some increase in volume, but key is the delivery of this higher grade. So you're going to see continued news releases from now until we stop drilling at the end of the year. And then in the first quarter of 2023, these two very important, hopefully very impactful resource updates.
Excellent. And in terms of your sort of funding through to that process, how's the cash balance looking?
Well, we were successful this year in a very, very difficult market, by some measures, one of the worst in 40 years, in raising $13 million. So one portion, that $7.6 million in March, and then $5.4 million in August, September. And so we are fully funded for delivery of those two mineral resource updates.
So how's the market reacting to your news, and where do you see your valuation sitting at the moment?
Well, it's been a very difficult market. Let's face it. This is probably one of the most difficult junior mining markets in almost 40 years. At least as I was a mining analyst for 34 years, in that time I was covering these things. The market has somewhat stabilized for us, allowing us to raise money. But if we're looking at valuation, right now we're trading at around US 61 cents per ounce in the ground, measured and indicated. And the average, if you look at some of the Mexican peers, is closer to $1.75, $2. And that's a significant discount. Quite rightly so, to be honest, given the August 2021 resource that we put out at such a low grade. So from my perspective, as we deliver on our promise of resource updates in the first quarter, as we deliver what we think will be a larger number of ounces at a higher grade, that we hope to be moving upward in the relative valuation relative to that peer mean.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck as the results come in over the next few weeks and months. And we look forward to seeing a big resource upgrade, hopefully in the first quarter of 2023. But thank you very much for joining us today to tell us about the company.
Thank you very much, Leo.